Andrew stared at Olivia. She was the most beautiful woman he'd ever known. They were clustered in the study area, and the sunlight from the window reflected off her hair. When she turned to smile at him, he felt his heart pounding in his chest. No one had ever affected him like this. He'd noticed her at the first day of class. Despite his nervousness, he approached her and asked her what she thought about the school assignment. He also joined a study group she was a part of. And after weeks of hanging out, he gathered his courage and asked her out. Unfortunately, she shot him down and wanted only friendship. "What do you think, Andrew?" Olivia asked, pulling him out of his thoughts. Andrew blinked when he found her and the rest of the study group staring at him. I agree with what you said." His answer seemed to satisfy her, and the conversation moved on. After their study group disbanded, Andrew walked Olivia back to her residence on campus. She mentioned that Tyler from her English class was having a party. "I'm going with some friends tonight. Do you want to come?" "Sure," he said. His heart jumped at seeing her smile, but his excitement soon disappeared when he left her dorm. Tyler was the guy Olivia was crushing on, and Andrew was reminded once again he had no chance with her. Of course, he couldn't back out now, since he risked disappointing Olivia. He went to the party, but as soon as he arrived, he immediately searched for Olivia. But when he saw her, he felt as if someone had punched him in the gut. The girl of his dreams stood close to Tyler while he braced his arm against the wall behind her. Andrew averted his gaze as a haze of jealousy threatened to choke him. He went to the side table and grabbed a bottle of beer, but he still couldn't help himself. He turned and found himself watching the couple. Olivia had her face tilted up, a smitten expression on her face. Andrew felt a fresh wave of pain. What he'd give to have Olivia look at him like that. Just then Julie, one of Olivia's friends, nodded as she started to walk past him. But she stopped. Her gaze followed his line of sight. When she turned back to him, she appeared shocked. "You have a thing for Olivia, don't you?" she said. "Does it matter?" he asked. "She's in love with Tyler." Andrew set the empty bottle on the table and left the party. There was no point staying since it was unlikely Olivia would notice. Andrew tried not to care that Olivia and Tyler hooked up after the party. As the months rolled by, she turned to Andrew to talk about her increasingly rocky relationship. "You know, I'm glad I have a friend like you," she said. He smiled at her, although her words made him sad. Fortunately, his interest in Harry Potter distracted him. He joined the university's Quidditch team and spent his time training for the upcoming matches. Then in 3 weeks, he planned to attend a Harry Potter convention with his teammates. He was putting together his costume and needed an impressive-looking wand to complete his look. School and Quidditch kept him busy, and by the time he was able to search for a wand, there was 9 days left to the convention. He spent several unsuccessful hours scouring the net. He was starting to get desperate and decided to trek across town to check out a novelty store. Andrew grabbed his car keys and started to leave his apartment when he received a text message from Olivia. "I'm not feeling well," she wrote. "Can you take me to the hospital?" The message set alarm bells ringing in his head. All thoughts of going to the novelty store went out the window, and he drove to Olivia's apartment. "Thanks for coming," she said. She looked pale and scared. "I think I ate something bad," she explained, while holding her stomach. "I texted Tyler, but he never responded, although I know he read my message." Olivia went through a series of tests, and as they waited to see the emergency doctor, Andrew distracted Olivia by talking about his Quidditch games and his frustrating research for a realistic-looking wand to match his costume. To his embarrassment, she laughed at him. "I never knew you were such a Harry Potter nerd," she said. When the doctor saw Olivia 5 hours later, he diagnosed her with food poisoning. He sent her home with some medication and general instructions for care. An hour later, Andrew dropped her back to her residence. "You're a good guy, Andrew," she said, and kissed him on the cheek. "Thank you." All at once, his buried feelings for her rushed to the surface. Olivia liked him. Why else would she kiss him? But his happiness was short-lived. 2 days later, he caught sight of Olivia with her boyfriend. He closed his eyes and felt anguish burning in his chest. Why was he torturing himself with lies? It was obvious she wasn't into him, and pining after an unavailable woman made his life a living hell. For his own sanity, he decided to avoid Olivia. When he wasn't studying, he trained and played Quidditch games against other schools. The next thing Andrew knew, the Harry Potter convention was in 2 days, and he still hadn't found a wand. He rushed to the novelty store and found, to his annoyance and frustration, that every Harry Potter item in the store was sold out. Now what? He couldn't show up at the convention without a wand. Just then his phone buzzed. It was Olivia. He was about to ignore the call, but at the last moment he picked it up. Olivia was crying on the other end and started to tell him about her latest fight with Tyler. "Look, Olivia, the two of you will have to work this out on your own," he said. "It's probably best that we don't hang out anymore." Her sobbing stopped, and before he got sucked further into her drama, he ended the call. But the following day, he found Olivia waiting for him by his parked car. "I broke up with Tyler," she said. "Good for you," he said, his tone neutral. "I miss you, Andrew," she said. "I contacted you many times, but you never responded." She drew in a shaky breath. When he stayed silent, she dropped her gaze and handed him a gift bag. "I made this for you," she said. "I hope you can use it at the convention." Inside the bag, Andrew found a hand-carved stick wrapped in wire. The beautifully crafted wand looked as if it had come from a Harry Potter movie set. He felt a shift inside him. Andrew had always thought Olivia didn't care about him or his interests, but maybe he was wrong about her. He was about to say something when she started walking away from him. He caught her arm. "What's the real reason you're here, Olivia?" he asked. She hesitated, but then she released a long breath. "After our phone conversation, I realized I wanted to be with you. I'm sorry I was so blind," she said, her voice filled with regret. "But I guess it's too late now." "No, it's not too late at all," he said, his tone softening. He pulled her closer and kissed her. "If anything, this is just the beginning." What did you guys think of the story? Please comment in the comment section below. I can't wait to read your answers and discussions. Thanks for watching. And don't forget to like and subscribe to get the latest stories to warm your heart. Until next time, bye.